Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, so today is the 11th of Tishri, so we have finished our Festival of Atonement. And what a great festival it was.
Yes.
Now, as a nation, we are 100% wrong. We are 100% in sin. So that includes me, my sister, my wife, you, everybody. We all 100 in sin. All right. But on this festival day, we actually took the steps to fix it. Now, we didn't break any of the laws, any of the rules of the festival that we could keep. So we were barefoot and we slept on the floor and we fasted
Yes.
and we prayed.
Yes.
And I prayed on the behalf and repented on behalf of some of you. So you say, what do you mean you prayed on behalf of some of us and not all of us? It's because I'm only really interested in there's some of you that wish to return to the law and customs, the law and the customs, and keep it. I'm not interested in saving all of you. I'm not interested in everybody. And so, as I do every day, I check in with the high priest, Aliakim, the faithful official, and we discuss, daily developments, and we take counsel. We discuss what we discuss, and we look at what's the needs of certain things that need to be addressed. And so on this festival day, he went and he's been reaching out to brothers that are stateside. So if you don't know what stateside is, that's brothers that are in the States, right? So he's dealing with the people on that side of the world while he's there to see who wants to do what, who's willing, and who is open to it. So he's reaching out to those brothers. The second thing I was able to reach out to the brothers and the sisters here. Now we are going to remain in contact. The most important thing that I was able to get done yesterday was to take a inventory
Yes.
of what the major issues and problems were. So here's the major issues and problems that was cited to me from the people, the brothers and sisters in Jordan. One, they cannot keep the Shabbats or the feast days because they still have to work. Right? That's a problem. So the solution to this problem is we have to own our own businesses.
Yes.
And to own your own businesses, you have to own the land and the building and the business upon it.
Yes.
So it starts back to owning land. The second thing is we also we have no problems keeping and following the law, but I've had issues living with other Hebrews. I've had issues.
Yeah.
There's issues. This one didn't treat me right, and that one didn't treat me right. And when money got low and funding and this and that was low, everybody was getting funny with food and with money and with things of that nature. I understood. I heard them. But owning the land also solves that problem
Yes.
because the housing is not small.
Right.
I'm not saying we don't share space, but when it's not small to where the space you're sharing, like I'm in this building, I live here and there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 other families. Families in here. It's one building, right? There's 7 other families in it. This is one man's house, one house. So the housing, I understood, and I was like, I don't have a problem with that, but I've never had that issue. In 8 years of being in the land of feeding, housing, clothing brothers, I've never had that issue. No brother has ever left because I mistreated them. They left or were put out for breaking the law,
Right.
right? And after they left, they continued to break laws, right? And then spread false accusations.
Yes.
I don't care about what those wicked people do. That's not my job. I did my job. I put the wicked out the city. So, with my track record and my area of expertise in keeping and housing and protecting people, they don't have that issue under anything that is under my rule and jurisdiction. Food has always and will always remain on the table. Now, money, however, may or may not,
Correct. But food will.
but food will. So you always have a roof over your head, you always have food on the table, you always have clothes. So your majority of your needs are met. Now, if you combine that with the first problem, where we always have businesses and we conduct in business, then we also have money. So I have solved the majority of their problems, and it all began with one thing: land. The next issue was they stated that, other people wanted them to submit to them. Other people wanted them to sign agreements. Other people wanted them to join in with them, but they have to agree to keep laws and this, that, and the third. And they had no problems signing the agreements. But the issue was without the first problems being solved, how can they sign agreements? How can they sign agreements and swear to keep something in this still captive position?
Yes. Yes.
Which goes back to what I said. If you watch my foundations class, because today we're beginning season 2, we're starting Judgments.
Yes.
So when we were talking about the foundations class and we began to discuss keeping this law, I said captivity ends when we as a community, as a group, as a nation, no matter how small, own land.
Yes, you have.
Own land.
And you state that every day.
I state it every single day.
Yes.
So the beautiful part about this Day of Atonement is we have garnered a a founding amount of funding. Okay? We have 2 angel investors. I'm calling them angel investors because I don't have a better word. The truth are, they're saints. We have 2 saints who have heard, who have researched, who have looked into my background and my records and everything else, hear the laws that I'm dictating and see that I live them every day, that my relationship with my teacher is rock solid. As a matter of fact, he is coming here to help us procure, which is to buy the land, make sure our agreements are sound and established. Because again, we are in an Arabic nation. I don't read Arabic, right? I don't speak Arabic as fluently as I would like. I do understand some things, but when you're dealing with contracts and agreements, everything must be straight across the table. If there's something wrong with the agreement, you sign it. That's it here. You sign.
Right.
Okay. So, but he's coming to make sure he's bringing my any documents that I need as far as my birthright or anything else. And my teacher's a very powerful man. He is recognized throughout the region from Egypt all the way to Dubai, Iran, Iraq as a judge, you know? But he's coming to make sure everything is according to law and birthright.
Yes.
So we're going to get this land and we're going to invite and open the doors to whoever wishes to come and learn. Now, it's not just coming.
Right.
You're going to learn because you have to learn the customs, the traditions. You're going to have to also relearn the law like a baby. We'll start from the beginning. There are many people who have said they've read the Uziel and they live by it, but they don't understand everything. They don't have the understanding of certain things. There's a conflict in their mind. That's the only place the conflict is. There's no
Yes.
conflict in the book. The conflict is in your understanding as you believe something that is improper and it sits there confounding you. So we're going to open the doors. We're going to let them come in. After we purchase the land and we get certain things established, we're going to start bringing in the people that are here and getting our system established and start processing. Right? So this is the best news. So what is my goal for this year? So my goal is to have everyone here and in place by Pascha, by the Passover. Why by the Passover? Because after Passover, again, this year the doors will close. What do you mean the doors will close? You don't see the war is coming, banks are shutting down. The banks didn't run out of money, they print it.
Exactly.
It's a computer thing. Like they just put a number in on your cards. They don't need to shut down the bank talking about, oh, well, this and that, and the money went. It's a lie. Right?
They're transitioning.
They're transitioning over to a war state. So they're shutting some stuff down, proclaiming that there was a problem. There's an investigation, and the truth is they stealing the gold.
Right, and they're implementing new ways of their
Whatever they want to do to continue so you can conduct business
right.
under their system, under their laws. So after this Passover, it will be closed. Now you can write that down. You can mark it. When's Passover? Well, if today's the 11th, right? It's the 7th month. It's 7 more months away. So you got 6 months to Adar, and then 1 month to Passover on the 14th. All right? That will be a total of 182 days, including today. So it's 181 days from today, starting tomorrow. So with that being said, it has been a wonderful, wonderful festival of atonement. The beautiful thing is, in praying in this festival time, the rain has showed up. We got rain clouds overhead, so
Yeah.
I know this this video might look a little dim.
Yes.
I might, check it 1 second. Let me see if it's all right. Okay, the video looks good,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it's a little dark
Yes.
in the room.
It is.
And the rain clouds has shown up, meaning that the Most High has heard my prayer, and He has now proven that He will do what is said, which is bringing the early rains in the season of Marchesvin. And so now Tishri is going out. We have one more festival, and that's supposed to begin next week, which is the Feast of
Tavern.
Booths, Sukkot, the Feast of Booths, when we go into tents for a week. Now, we're not going to observe this. We're going to be wrong. Rabbi Sheikh, but you can go into a tent. Yeah, sure can. Right? And you can give your money and we can buy land and we can move on to our land and go into a tent.
Yes.
See how that works?
Right, because we set up the tent in our land.
We set up the tents on our land. We're not going to go out and disturb the peace and disturb our neighbors. That's not what we're commanded to do. So our goal now is you're going to fail the Feast of Booths, the Feast of Tabernacles, in which every male is supposed to appear. You're going to fail. And you're going to fail the Shavuot, right? The Festival of First Fruits. You're going to fail the first half of it, right? But you have 7 months to make Passover. This is mercy. You have 7 months. Get your funds together, get your things together, get a plane ticket before you see anything worse, and come. If you are in the States, you need to come with Ali. The tabernacle will open, the sanctuary will open when the high priest opens it. Just what? I'm telling you the truth.
That's the instructions.
I don't have the key to open the sanctuary. I have the instructions.
Right.
I have the instructions, and so does the high priest. When the high priest, Ali, when he comes and he opens the sanctuary, it will be open. I don't mince words. I'm not saying you the king. I may be the king, but the high priest has the key because you cannot enter with your filth. You must be atoned for.
Correct.
You must be atoned for. You wrong. You wrong. You the reason why we don't have land. You're the reason why we don't have sheep, lambs, goats, why we don't have stores, and why we're not living in the community. Because you have mistreated each other as brothers and sisters. Each one thinking what they see is right, correct, or fit, but not what is lawfully right.
Right. And Rabbi Sheikh as well, what I recognize is that a lot of times we're still operating in a Western mindset system, and we're trying to implement it being here, and you
It
can't.
doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It collapses.
Every time it collapses. Now, I don't operate with a Western, my sister tell you,
Nope.
I don't operate with a Western mindset or the Western system. I operate within the framework of customs and traditions, and I am beloved everywhere I go.
'Cause as we learned, the Western mindset system is narcissistic, it's not communal. So it can't function when this foundation is communal.
Right. This is a communal foundation. The Western system and mindset, as she stated, is 100% narcissistic. So you're taught to be a narcissist and you're taught that narcissism is normal.
Yeah.
except when it hurts you and your feelings.
Feelings. Right. Right. Right.
Narcissism is good until it hurts your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not doing that. We're going to live as a tribe, as a community on our land. And I'm going to open it up. I'm going to get as enough as I can, and we're going to live on it. For those who wish to, it's going to be open. And again, we have farms. So we're going to have sheep. We're going to have cows. We're going to have goats. We're going to have vineyards of olive trees and lemons and oranges and everything else. We're buying already established farms. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone who comes in with us, right? Because we have to meet a certain quota. But once we meet that quota, everyone with us in this establishment will be registered to swap and have a second passport. So we will have residency in Jordan. Oh, sounds like you selling us into captivity. No, I'm not selling you into captivity. I'm delivering you out from it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you are granted residency, meaning you reside in Jordan, but you are not a citizen, you know we are on in a borrowed kind of space. We will be sojourning here in Jordan until we go back, because everything we're building here is to fund the second and the third projects.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to build the same thing in Egypt, and we have to build the establishment in the land for us to go to it. So we have to build housing and businesses in the land of Israel, where I already have my birthright, my paperwork, but we have to build on it from the ground up.
Right.
Okay? So that when we go, we have a place to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if people want to be, super deep about it and say, well, we going in tents. All right. We're going to need, every family is going to have to carry 2 tents.
And how you gonna buy the tents?
Yeah, every family is going to have to carry 2 tents. One for themselves
Mm-hmm.
and a second for another who may not have.
Mm. That's the communal
This
thing.
the communal part. You
Yeah.
have to have for you and for your brother.
Mm-hmm.
What? The brother who you don't know yet who is coming. This is not about the you or the me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody must prepare for themselves and the next one. This is a great return. It will be strange. You're going to be helping people you don't know. You're going to be meeting Israelites you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All along this journey, the law, everybody will go through the same law. As you've seen me do here, they're going to go right through foundations again.
Mm-hmm.
The first group with me, face to face, in person, with Q&A. With me, reading the law, getting the understanding. And the high priest will be here. So that's going to be great because we're going to piggyback. So I get some rest. We'll be going over the establishment of the time and the calendar. We'll be going over festival days and how we keep them, what everybody is to do. And we will be weeding out lemons.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to hear and do, you out. You can pack your stuff, you can go. This is what it has to be. And we're not addressing beliefs. There's a difference. On our land, when I buy it, this is be established as, again, regaining the land, and this will be an established government, a private government for us and our people. We will police ourselves, we will secure ourselves, and we will defend our border. This is a private governance. And this will be our law, this will be our customs, and this will be our traditions. If you have an issue with that, you are free to go everywhere and anywhere in the world you would like. I'm going to tell you this is the revelation of a prophecy. They have eyes, you the people, you have eyes to see. But if you don't understand this, you perceive, you understand it not, because it's starting off so small. It's a small thing.
Right.
Right? But every great tree has a tiny little seed. Right? The giant redwoods in California. Small seed. So now you're going to see it, and this is what we are going to do. That's our time. We'll be right back, and we're going to start in Genesis chapter 1 and begin judgment. All right. We're going to ready to start with Genesis chapter 1, but my sister and I were talking off camera and just gaining some clarity. And I feel like it should be said as well on camera. You know, there's a great many things that we don't discuss on camera. But you're going to, this return, this exodus is based upon you obeying the law, customs, and traditions in this land and to do that which is right by choice. Free choice. Okay? This is not a rescue operation. I don't pity you because you suffered hardships. There's no pity. You suffered because you were disobedient to the laws. Period. Whether you knew them or not, you're still subject to them.
That's right.
So you suffered because of your disobedience to the law. Everything that was done wrong to you and everything that you did wrong to somebody else, it was all accounted for. Okay? So I don't have no pity about what has happened. So showing up doesn't mean you the people, even with a blood birthright. The only thing it entitles you to do is the opportunity to choose. You will choose to obey the laws, customs, and traditions. It's a choice. Failure to obey, you have to go. You will receive the benefits for your obedience. That's what it's in exchange for. This is your payment. Your obedience gives you the benefits. It gives you free housing and food, because I'm commanded by law to share my floors with my brothers. So your housing and your food is in exchange for obedience. Failure to obey, you're out of here. And it doesn't matter what you gave because the law said give to the sanctuary, you're out of here.
Right.
If you think you're going to raise up any muss or any fuss, right? Just understand, we have swords. You will be buried. This is the law. You're not going to violate the law and not see it exercised here. This is what the angel investors have invested in. And we're not talking about pennies,
No.
right? We're talking about millions. This is what they're invested in. We want to see this law implemented in this 100%.
Order.
100%. We are investing in this because of not only what you have said, what you have done, and how you have lived. Your credentials check out 100%. So we are giving this to the building of the sanctuary, and our agreement
Mm-hmm.
in giving you tribute, right? As a king, the king receives
It's
tribute.
tribute. Mm-hmm.
Our agreement in giving you this tribute is with one caveat, that you keep this law on this land that you purchase with it, which is exactly what the book says that everyone who comes is to do. So
Yeah.
everything you give is tribute for the building of the nation. We're always going to be buying land. We're always going to be expanding. We're always going to be buying equipment. We're always going to be establishing businesses and business opportunities, right? We have to make our own oils. We have to make our own medicines. We have to make our own food and food products.
Our own clothing.
We have to make our own clothing and hair products. Everything has to be made in
Ourselves.
ourselves, especially while we are small.
Yes.
So we're not going to have a whole lot of independence because everyone is here is receiving the same measure of goodness. I got a 32-inch TV. You got a 32-inch TV. If you want a 48-inch, you receive a monthly stipend. Go and save up and get it. Not that you don't receive some monies for your own personal care, your own personal things, and then there's little side things that you're doing for yourself because, you got some time. You're going to have time. But what's for the community is for the community, and what's personal is personal. But even in your personal, you have to obey the law and function properly. If you do something personal and you start charging the brother for profit, you will receive this law.
Yeah, because that's against the law.
It's against the law. You're not going to profit off of your brothers and sisters.
Right.
There's no profit in it.
Right, because it's only a 20%.
It's only 20%, one fifth above cost for your labor to your brother. This is a law. Now, outside and to outside people, yeah,
Different.
you could charge. You could do the neighbor's hair and charge what you like, and you know what I'm saying. You can expand and get a shop, and we can put other sisters in there, and we can.
Yes.
The community is for community development. Everything must be in order. We are functioning as one whole nation, and you will be in this crib, in this little cradle of my hands, developing until we get to the point to where you can handle the whole farm by yourself, you and your servants and your workers and your wives and your daughters and sons and handmaids and everything else. Then you will bring in the tithe to the nation, the three of them.
Yes.
So I felt like that was good to have that discussion so that people can understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's not this mass one process thing. It's one step, process.
It is a multi-million-dollar project.
And it's a building.
And it's a building
process.
Yeah. So when we transition, because we have to establish this and then transition into the land. When we transition into the land, because that's the next stage, and build up the school in Egypt, right? Because the next major outcoming will be from the school in Egypt. When we transition to that point, at that point, we have to have everything. Because you're talking about cars may fail by that time, right? Because when they make the war, as you can clearly see, they made the war on gas. They blew up the pipeline.
Sure did.
If they're blowing up the air gas pipeline, they're going to destroy oil.
Right.
Ain't gonna be no oil. So if you ain't got donkeys, sheep, camels, you gonna be on your own, playboy. If you have any plans of going into Africa, please go. Enjoy the walk. It's a long stroll back.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know you'll be leaving Egypt? There'll be famine over there. The famine is coming over there. You don't believe me?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't coming now. It's going to take another 40 years, but it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You think I'm lying? You can wait. Write it down. Just wait. Okay? All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 1. And now we're going to practice judgment. This is season 2, and it's the beginnings of our judgment. So, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. At the beginning, Min Avala, Yah created the heavens and the earth. So now we have to get an understanding. Okay? We have to get an understanding. And you're saying, what understanding we have to get? So let's set up a basic foundation of, we need a foundation structure of understanding how the Most High speaks. Because everybody swear they talk to the Most High, and then when they say what they're saying, the Most High doesn't discuss that.
Mm-hmm.
However, you may receive an inclination, which may or may not be right,
Mm-hmm.
but you are not hearing from the Most High. It is a internal judgment. You see what I'm saying? But it is not the Most High. It is a judgment. The Most High may send a message in a dream, or you may feel something very deeply, but you have not heard from the Most High. And you'll say, what do you mean? Because you cannot be cursed
Mm-hmm.
and hear from him. He says, I will keep my Holy Spirit from them,
Right.
which means you don't have it. You don't have it, you won't have it.
Yes.
All right? Give us 1 second. We'll be back right after this. Ooh, we enjoying the rain. It's raining, y'all. It's raining. All right, I'm back. You guys should have seen a clip of I went outside, ran to the store real quick, did some little running around, some errands, but you should have seen the rain. So as you can see, I don't have to tell a story. Oh, it's raining. It's not raining. It's actually raining. So I want you guys to understand something. And this is important moving forward. So you heard the law, and the law is about how we are to conduct ourselves, how we are to conform ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and how we are to change. Hearing the law and doing the little small preparatory steps benefits you. Okay? Making the small changes you can make today in preparation for what you're going to be doing tomorrow is of a benefit to you. Right? So to understand that, you need to understand where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you lost. You're literally lost. I'm here, but I don't know how to get where I'm going. Right?
Yes,
It's a
sir.
simple understanding. So now I'm going to now lay a foundation of understanding for us to proceed. Because a lot of times everybody gets confused about the conversation and the context in which the Most High is speaking. Because this entirety of this book of the law is not about the Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the Israelites. The entirety of the context of speaking is about the Most High, and how you transform yourself to become like unto him. How his instruction conforms you to act, to be in his image, and how that action benefits you yourself and those around you. How you interact with certain situations on as they have come up on a daily basis. So to begin, before we read, and you need a basic understanding about who's talking. So when the Most High tells you one attribute about himself, one, that attribute is a pillar. It is fixed. It does not move. Okay? So now I'm going to show you Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 7. So before we even begin, I need to lay down for us to understand who's talking and what is the context of speech.
Okay.
Okay? So here we go. Isaiah chapter 46, and we're going to start at verse 8. Now you're going to need the Isaiah Targums. Now, if you don't have the Isaiah Targums, do yourself a favor and Google it, because it's a free PDF download, and you can start with Isaiah and have it to read along. This free. Free. Okay? Isaiah Targum. Remember this and strengthen yourselves. Recall to mind, O rebels. So right away, we know the Most High is talking to us. Okay? Because I read you the instructions and we have yet to comply. So until we have complied, we are always in a state of rebellion, and that we are always working continuously to change the status. Our status now as a nation, we are a nation of rebels. Okay? Remember the former things which were of old. Oh, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to remember the former things. Why? We're going to pick up Genesis chapter 1 and we're going to read them. For I am Allah, and there is no other.
Yes.
No, literally, no. Oh, you read it.
Remember the former things which were of old, for I am Allah, and there is no other Allah besides me.
Ain't no S on that. Yeah, there is an S on this one, on besides. But the word is beside. You know, they made an error here and it's a little squiggly line, but it's beside. There's no body next to him, beside nothing. Everything is set in order by him, and everything attests itself to his word and his service.
But also, I remember in school when they have the S on the besides, it's like making the statement that it is only me.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, it's only me.
There's none other besides me or beside.
Yeah.
So there's nobody on the right hand, nobody on the left hand. There's no.
It's none other.
There's none.
Yeah.
Okay?
Want me to continue?
Yeah, continue.
Declaring from the beginning to the end, and from ancient times, things not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand.
Okay, so one, he's declaring from the beginning to the end. So we're getting ready to read, right? We're getting ready to read Genesis, and I promise you, it not only tells you, because the same way we read Deuteronomy and it's split between two different times, it's telling you what was at the beginning and exactly what is at the end. Because the same process he lays out right here, same process from Genesis chapter 1, how he deals with the first ones is how he is going to deal with everyone.
Right.
Okay? This is the prophecy of the end. This is where we going. Okay? Continue. He says, my counsel, he said, things not yet
Done.
done. So it's not yet done. We haven't gotten to Genesis chapter 1 yet. We're just starting. It's not yet. And everybody's like, what? We haven't gotten to Genesis chapter 1 yet. You'll see. It's been a process, right? To get all the way through it. You'll see. When we start to break this down and I start to show you where the truth stands, you'll understand.
And as well as reading that, it lets you know that one, he's already spoken it because he
Uh-huh.
declared it. So it's already spoken.
So there's no need for a new
figuring out.
prophet to be
Right.
speaking like this is what will be in the future. No. You need a reference.
Right. Right.
When I'm telling you the times, there is no prophecy and the Most High spoke to me. No,
Right.
I have the reference. There's a time reference. So I'm telling you, this is what will happen in this time, right? I know if you don't get out by this Passover, you're going to partake in the punishment of Babel, and you'll be stuck there to deal with it for however long and however long the process it takes you to get to the next steps and the next stages if you survive the initial fallout.
Right. And from ancient times.
Right. So that's not ancient times.
Right. This is
The
going.
Most High said, I spoke in ancient times. And so when he
Yeah.
spoke before,
That was it.
that was it. Ain't no talking now.
Right.
No hard feelings to people and how they feel.
Right.
No hard feelings. I'm not angry with you. Let me just tell you the truth. If your feelings is hurt, it's because I'm sharing with you a truth and you wish it to be another way. And you're telling me, well, I know how I feel. Yeah, you feel corrupt. That's exactly how you feel. You feel like you've been lied to and mistreated in this thing that you have been counseling. Well, what is it? And you don't want to be perceived as wicked or evil. It was just an evil imagination or an evil inclination as spelled out by the law. I don't have those. I just want to do what it says, one step at a time, one day at a time. That's what it says to do. So he says, my counsel shall stand.
Stand. So what he's declared shall be.
It's going to be.
Either way, it's going to
And
be.
I will accomplish. The words I will means that there's a process. He didn't say it is accomplished. He says I will. So we're looking at a long process of time. And the thing is, you don't know in what process we are in. You don't know where in time that we are. I know, which is how I got to this position. So now that I have gone through the steps, the processes, and proceeded to gain the understanding, I can walk you through it because we have to go through it together as a nation. Okay? My whole process is basically akin to a burning bush experience. All right? So now we're looking at this. He says, I will accomplish all my pleasure. Who, what?
Promised to gather the exiles from the east, to bring openly like a swift bird from a far land. The sons of Abraham, my chosen, I have spoken, and I will bring it to pass.
So again, giving you the foundation of understanding to show that this is talking to you for what we are about to do. What I'm about to teach you, it is already written from ancient times. And it says to bring back the sons of Abraham. So, how many sons does Abraham have? Well, he has two branch families. The Ishmaelites and the sons of Keturah are one family. And the Itzakim branch, both the sons of Yaakov and the sons of Esau. What? Not all. No, not all. But he's bringing us all together.
I just look up the word exile because it says the exiles from the east. Yes, so you have to be here because this is the east.
Right, you originated here, but you were exiled from here. Now, this isn't all the sons of Abraham, but we know who was banished and they must return. So this is to talk to you, rebels, who are in exile, scattered, even here in the land.
The state of being barred from one native country.
Yeah, from one's native country.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
A person who lives away from their native country.
Right. So here I am, I'm in the land of Canaan, and this is what we have to do. So remember, the Most High is telling us the beginning from the end, and his counsel will stand. Well, I'm going to now introduce you to his counsel, right? Now, he says he's going to bring you from afar. Of course, you see my brother Ali, he's at the furthest point you could be from here. Everybody else is connected.
Right.
You can technically walk to China from here. You can walk. I ain't saying it's comfortable, but I'm saying it's possible.
Yeah.
I can walk to Britain. I can walk to any point in Africa from here. Everybody else is close and the land is connected. However, if you live in the Americas, both north and south, you are disconnected at the furthest point by a far off sea. Okay? Australia as well, and any other of the islands, there's a sea that divides it. It makes the journey more difficult. Okay? So now I'm talking to you exiles, you rebels who are far off or near. Okay?
Yes. I have spoken.
Okay?
And I will bring it to pass.
Now, he has spoken and he will bring it to pass. But he's only talking to a specific group. It says, my chosen. Now, to be the chosen of the Most High, you have a choice to make. What? You either going to come, participate in the community, as a nation, by the law, right? Right? And by the land. You're going to live by the law and buy back the land. See, I've been out here since 2016, and I've seen all the foolishness that other people have done. You don't come here and tell people you the people. There's nothing to be said. You do the lawful things, and it proves you are who you are. If you're not doing it, don't talk about it. And if you are doing it, be quiet, shut up. This is a movement. We're just going to live peaceably and do what the law says do. It has nothing to do with nobody knowing what we're doing. Even I'm talking about it to you now. You're saying, but you're talking about it. Yeah, but I'm talking to you, rebels,
Who ain't here?
who not here. And most of you won't make it. Though all are called, only few will make the proper choices to become the chosen. The appointed person does the appointed thing at the appointed time. If you don't know when the appointments are and you don't want to participate, or you're waiting till you see a sign, there will be none given. I am the sign. The understanding being given is the sign. You'll not see a twinkle of a star, nothing. All of that is nothing. The counsel that I'm giving you shall stand, because this is the counsel that comes from the Most High's instruction. All right?
I have purposed and I will do it.
So now he is telling you exactly, this has always been my purpose from ancient times. He's not adjusting to our actions. He
Right.
made sure it went this way. This is plan perfect. Plan A. It doesn't have a contingency and it does not fail. So the Most High doesn't have to change the writing or the lettering or the arrangements of the law. You have to change. He's not adapting to your situation.
Right. A move or to meet your accommodations.
He's not moving to you.
No, and that's where the issue is, because we have come to believe that he works for us. We tell him what we want and how to do it, and then he moves everything on our behalf. And that is the delusion.
That is the delusion. So he says this has been his purpose and he will do it, meaning we will continue in this process until completion. So now, where are you in the process? You don't know. Hence why we are here today. Okay? Finish off this verse. So because now we're getting the framework to understand the Most High in one of the rare occasions where he does explain himself.
Attend to my memory.
Now, this phrase is the most important phrase. You are coming here to serve in this instruction.
Attend means be present at,
To be present,
go regularly to
come regularly to, right?
an
A
education,
function. See that?
event, meeting, or function, and educational, social.
So it's social, it's educational, it's business to attend, like a butler attends, like a maid attends.
A service.
It's a service. So he says, attend, serve
to my memory.
to my memory. Memory is my word. Everything that the Most High has said in the past, as it relates to the present, and moving into the future. So everything we are doing as it relates to the present is coming from the past for us to make a preparation for the future.
That's why when we read in the law, when he says pretty much, this ain't about you.
It's not about you.
This is about me and the promises I made to the
To
Father.
the fathers, to the first ones.
Yeah.
So now what he has said in ancient times, he is now purposing to perform it. What does that mean for you here today? What that means for you is very simple and very basic. Okay? You have to organize your funds, okay? And you have to give them, right? You have to give it. You can give it when you get here. Just understand, if you give it when you get here, you're going to have to also make sure you have funds allocated for your preservation while you are here. And we have a bunch of Israelites already here stuck into this situation and scenarios.
Because we have been without a leader.
You have been without a leader. You have not had a king until now. So one of your free choices is whether you're going to come in and submit yourself unto the kingship, into the land, the dominion, because I'm not building everybody's house. I'm building one. I'm building, first off, the house of David. That's it. Everything is being purchased unto the house of David. It will remain that way until we have all gathered back, and then we have all gathered back to the lands, and then every person will receive their birthright inheritance after we have gathered it all back. So once we've bought all that we could, we will wait for instructions to see what the instructions is to gain the next pieces.
And
Because money gonna fail. I want y'all to understand.
yeah, it's gonna fail.
Money's gonna fail, right? Right now the dollar is failing. This is gonna continue until whatever. So if you have money, as in US dollars, now is the time you need to go on and send that over, plan for your tickets, put it months out in advance, and get yourself prepared. All right? Go ahead. What was you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, one of the biggest things that I have come to learn since being over here, because I've been over here since 20, is that there are a lot of those who wants to lead. Because there are those who will have leadership qualities or whatever. But what I've come to learn and understand, there is only one leader. There is only one in whom the angel is with. There is only one who bears the customs, the traditions, who's already took the walk and now is helping all the others to be able to walk the same walk.
So the first ones that come out, you all have opportunities. You have to walk the process first.
Yes, you do.
Okay? You have to do everything first. Initially, you have to make the sacrifices. You have to give. You have to pay. You have to do everything to set up. You will become the trainers and the teachers of the next group and batch that comes out. So after we have this next year that passes, right? So counting from atonement to atonement. After this next year passes, next year when we're having the Feast of Atonement on our land, we will have achieved something. We'll be on our land, living together with our businesses and getting ready to go into the next phases of development. Okay? Because we have to grow all the way up until we can keep the perpetuals, the Shabbats, the new moons, and everything with all the requirements. So that's going to be a long time. But the first ones that come will understand, and as we grow and develop, they will grow and develop in the process.
Yes.
Oh, but you know what? Maybe I'm making this up. Go ahead, read the last sentence.
Okay. Attend to my memory, you stubborn of heart.
So you stubborn of heart, attend to the memory. Hear these instructions.
You who are far from innocent.
You who are far from innocence, meaning the wrath is coming and it's coming to get you because you are not innocent. You are guilty. It doesn't matter how you feel and what you want, you're not performing lawfully. And you're saying, well, I can't do it because of this and because of that. Fine. The solution to all of this, the solution is to obey the instruction and to begin to move as a unit. Okay? Not a church, not an organization. We're going to move as a nation, as a unit.
My innocence is near. It is not far off. And my salvation will not be checked.
See that word? Be
Yes.
checked. Let's see what that means.
Ooh. Having a pattern of small squares.
That's a checkered
The
pattern.
Examine something in order to determine its accuracy, quality, or condition, or to detect.
So he's saying his salvation will not be something that you will be able to inspect or inquire about without participation. That's what it says. It will not be checked. It will not be inspected by wicked people from the outside to see the good and then make a false change to try to obtain some good out of it. It doesn't work that way.
Because, it's like a checkerboard, okay? You have the squares. And if you're a piece and you're not on the board, you're not part of the game.
You're not part of the game. You have to be on your square. Okay? So he's saying his innocence is near, meaning now you have the time. You have never at no time had a choice to keep this law. The requirements of which was you needed a blood descendant who had done the steps, acquired the land, right? So I've already acquired the land where we're going. I got that part where we're going. So I know the destination. I know what's needed to get there. However, in the meantime, we have to make a preparation because when we go over there, it will be desolate. I'm telling you, there's nothing on the land. There's literally nothing on it. You have to go, you have to build the cisterns there. You have to plow the fields and plant the gardens. It will take time for it to become a settlement establishment for us to live in. And the people who are waiting to receive us there, right? So there's another whole half of the family ready to join us. They do not have enough sustainment for the both. So we have to have a preparation and then come in and join in with them. They have the experience, they have the understanding, they already know who we are, they already know what we're supposed to do because they helped me develop. So if you don't understand where we're going and what we're doing, it's because you don't understand. Okay? And so now we're going to go back now. We're going to go right to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Okay? I'm going to let my sister read from the beginning.
You know what, brother? This is Yaya's conversation. We're just joining the party.
I know. You have to know who's talking and who's they talking to. All of you are third parties to this. So let's see where the conversation is going, and we're going to now pronounce and start judging and referencing the law.
At the beginning, Min Avila.
Okay? This Min Abila is in the origin, out of the origin. So there's an origin, okay? There is an origination, a beginning, and then there's what comes out of it. And this is the beginning that is being spoken about. So he's talking about the beginning of the end. Oh, did we just read that in Isaiah? Yes. Absolutely. So let's see what is continued to be spoke about.
Yah created the heavens and the earth.
So he created the heavens and the earth. This is the beginning part. Okay? He created it. It came to a certain point. Now, after this point, we continue.
Yes, sir.
So this beginning point right here, this is when he created and separated everything. Also, where he put Adam and Eve to begin and the process of the earth unto the points that will be highlighted coming up. And he's going to highlight them. I'll let him explain, and I'll just give you the understanding.
And the earth was vacancy and desolation.
So the earth is vacancy. Look at that word vacancy. You know what vacancy is?
Yeah.
Unoccupied. So the earth is unoccupied when he started. And it was a desolation when he began it. He just formed everything. So it was empty. Okay, now hold this thought. Wait till you see what the Most High says next.
Was vacancy and desolation, solitary of the sons of men.
Okay, so now you understand. How can it be solitary of the sons of men if man is not yet created? Because he's not talking about when he created everything. He already told you, when I created everything, it was vacancy. Okay? It was vacancy and desolation. Then, when I'm going to do the new thing, it's going to be solitary of the sons of men. Now, it was solitary of the sons of men with Adam too. So it's the same thing. But with Adam, it was one man. And in our time, he's starting again, but his focus is upon one nation, but there are still sons of men, but the population has gone down to make them few.
Solitary.
Right, solitary. Solitary. Secluded, isolated,
done existing alone. Ooh.
existing alone. Solitary. So now it's isolated. So it started off again with Adam, one man, and then now the Most High is going to take and he's going to make his nation the one primary nation. Now there's a process to get there, but all the nations will be brought down so that they'll be solitary and few, very small. So there's going to be 70 nations
Right.
in the kingdom of Israel that will be participating as members.
Right.
There will be 70 nations as participating members. And that's not including, because we just read, that he said the sons of Abraham was one nation. So Ishmael, Isaac, and their children are one nation. We deal with the kafirs, the disbelievers, according to how the instruction is said. At the time the instruction is said. So not a day before and not a moment after. So what are you talking about? You need to be quiet when you don't know and you don't understand.
Correct.
Well, let's see what happens.
And void of every animal, and darkness was upon the face of the abyss.
So to be void of animals, right? That means animals existed. To be void of it.
Right.
You see?
Not valid or legally binding.
Ineffectual,
Completely
empty, free from, lacking. So it's lacking animals, vacant, vacancy of animals too. So he's not telling you there was no animals, because he already said the world was a desolation. But he's saying in both beginnings, the populations will be dropped. There will be survivors, but they will be solitary and few. You have to, as a people, as a nation, build them back up. So there's work to do. There's work ahead of us.
And darkness was upon the face of the abyss,
Okay, so there's darkness.
and the spirit of mercies from before Yah breathed upon the face of the waters.
Okay, so now we have mercies. You know what goes together with mercy? Judgment. Judgment and mercy go hand in hand. So if the Most High has to breathe mercy upon the world, then judgment has to have been present. They are not separated. So what is he talking about? In the time when I come, the world will appear to me as complete darkness. But when the world is completely dark, when you have the homosexual agenda worldwide, when everyone have to accept this Sodom and Gomorrah business, when my law has not been taught and with any amount of truth, and my people have been scattered and none of them have obeyed my law or done what I have asked of them to do, and when they only want me to accept the filth that they offer and not what I have requested or required of them. This darkness, this is an abyss. You can't climb out of this without mercy. I'm here to administrate this mercy.
So the darkness is the wickedness and filth.
Yes, it's complete ignorance. If you're in an abyss, you are ignorant of light. And that's what happens. You have been ignorant of the law. You ignorant. You know what? People think if I read the law, I know about it. Knowing about it and doing it,
It's
two different things. I know that there is the law of the Most High, but I don't know how yet to live it. I have not seen.
Yes.
So you are ignorant and you're just imagining. You have had no practical hands-on to actually do it, to conduct it. And the spirit of mercies
From before Yah breathed upon the face of the waters.
Okay, so he breathed upon the face of the waters. So what happened?
And Yah said,
Oh,
he said,
now he's breathing upon the face of the waters. He's not breathing, he's talking. There's no vanity. So what does he say?
let there be light, and to enlighten above, and at once there was light.
So now he breathes upon the face of the abyss of the darkness and he speaks. What is the Most High saying here? Let there be light? No. No. This not light like you flip a switch. This not the sun and the moon.
The law.
This is the law.
Because it says that the commandments is the lamp and the law is the light.
Exactly. The law.
Let there be law. And
Let there be Torah, instruction. And let it enlighten above. And at once
there was light.
There was light.
Right, because
The law.
in order to have order, you have to have the law.
This light, and this he's talking to us and he's trying to give it from our perspective. But before he even created the heavens and the earth, he created the law. The entirety of this earth system is built on this law. Meaning, if you don't function in it, you chosen ones. If you don't function in this law, you will have no success. For the prosperity of the wicked has now coming to an end. The other nations have to come down because this seed has to grow. It has to come up. We small now, but not going to be small. As more affliction comes, the more people understand what I'm talking about is true, and the more they understand that is true, the more they want to participate. However, I'm here for the chosen of the Most High's people so that they can be ready to receive the sojourners. I'm only here for my people. Step one. It's Abraham's covenant, and the people who administrate Abraham's covenant must first be in it, functioning. Continue.
And Yah beheld the light, that it was good. And Yah divided between the light and the darkness.
So there's a division. He beheld the light. He beheld the instruction that it was being given. And he said that it is good. And he separated. There's a division. This don't mix. He separated the light, the chosen, who obey by their own free will and free choice, and the darkness, the ones that disobey, the holy from the common. There is a separation. It's not mixed and mingled together, and mercy is not administrated to prolong the wicked that they might change. No, that's not the purpose of mercy. It's not to give the wicked a chance and a chance and a chance and a chance. No, the wicked must face judgment. And if they were ignorant, they are given the opportunity to learn, be educated, and change today. Not tomorrow, not next week, this day. You make a change in your mind. I'm going to walk in this way because I don't want to face or taste the death. And this is to the chosen.
Wow, because the law doesn't change because of our ignorance. It still remains. We must change from our ignorance to the obedience of the law.
Exactly. So now let's look at this.
And Yah called the light day. And he made it that the inhabitants of the world might labor by it. And the darkness called he night. And he made it that in it the creatures might have rest.
Okay. So, first of all, I need you to understand something. The sun and moon is not yet made. Of course, there's many others that have noticed this, right? But if you take a look, the Most High says it will be continuously day, and the night will no longer come. In one of the prophecies of Isaiah, he says, "I'll make the sun 1,000 times brighter, and I'll make the moon with the brightness of the sun." That's daytime and daytime, right? But what is Isaiah referencing here? He's referencing day one. Once the law is unleashed and becomes present, it's no longer any more darkness.
No more wickedness.
The wickedness is going to rest. The creatures are going to rest. What rest? Oh, the rest of Moses. You get to go to the grave. And now the righteous get to live and prevail with it being daytime only. And then you'll see this because when we actually get to when the sun and the moon is made, you find that there is a light for the day and a light for the night. Right. It's light and light. There is only light. There is no darkness.
That's right.
So there is law and law, and there is the law that governs this brightness and the law that governs the lesser brightness and how we ought to conduct ourselves. But there is no darkness anymore unless you're a creature of the abyss in which you're about to get some rest. You don't want to accept the law, you're going to rest. We done. It's not me. I'm not killing you. I'm telling you what the understanding is. You don't accept, you don't, it's fine. Accept your rest when it comes. Accept it. I'm not the one to, to bury you. I'm not killing you. Your government is doing a better job of killing you than me.
And you doing a better job killing you.
We'll be back.
Your own self. Killing yourself. Oh my goodness.
Okay? And it was evening and morning the first day. So we went through evening and morning at atonement, right?
Yes.
And now we it's the now the evening and morning, and now the first day is past. Let's see what the Most High say for the second day. And you know, we're gonna go through a couple of days, and then I'm gonna show you another pattern because this have a separate pattern. So after the Most High created the heavens and the earth and laid everything in it, in the first 1,000 years, the Most High separated Adam and his children, and they kept a genealogy from the Nephilim, the creatures. No, because when he said, let us make man, he was talking to the angels. Which angels was he talking to? He was talking to himself, the angels who stood in righteousness, and the fallen who had come down to commit fornication with God the real and the rest of them. And so he said, you know, this is your plan. So before they did it, this is what they were thinking, and he knew, and he said, you know what?
Let him do it.
This is what I want. And when I made you, I made this in you for you to do this wicked thing. Even though I said, don't do it, you will purpose in your heart and you will do it. For I have already seen it. Let us make man in our image and our likeness. So now the Most High made his and they made theirs.
And Yah said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate between the waters above and the waters beneath. And Yah made the expanse, upbearing it with 3 fingers between the confines of the heavens and the waters of the ocean, and separated between the waters which were below the expanse and the waters which were above in the collection or covering of the expanse, and it was so.
So 1,000 years is a day, and a day is 1,000 years. So after the Most High created, and then he established the law, and then 1,000 years passed, and what do we have? We have Noah, where the waters above came down and the waters below came up, and only Noah survived above the ark. And then the Most High separated them back up again. He put them back in their place. He opened back up the fountains, and he put the waters back where they needed to be, and then there was dry land, and Noah and his sons, Japheth, Ham, and Sham, because his name is not Hebrew, his name is Sham, who is the father of the race that you call Hebrew, but it's Shami people. So when you have these 3 sons and Og, 1 Nephilim, Og, 1 Nephilim. Right? So he said, this is what happens, and this happened in the
Second
second day.
day.
So in the second day, you have the flood. So the Most High is again telling you the end of the first day and what's going to happen. And when I'm done with this, we'll be in the second day.
And y'all called the expanse the
Heavens
heavens, and it was evening, and
and
it was morning the second day.
so what? You notice that darkness precedes
Sees the light.
the light. So night, evening, darkness, and light. So now that the world is at its darkness, you're seeing now the dawn
The breaking of dawn.
of the new day. All right, welcome to the party. I know you're all excited to be here. Okay? So now, this is now 1,000 years past, and now we have this is the next major event.
And Yah said, let the lower waters, which remain under the heavens, be gathered together into one place, and the earth be dry, that the land may be visible, and it was so. And Yah called the dry land
Oh, he called the dry land
the earth.
the earth. So when you go back now, you want to read prophecies in Ezekiel, and the Most High says, if a land transgress against any one of these of my words, I will plague that land. So now we can see when he says, if a land, meaning any, he's talking to all the land. I don't care what land it is. If the people on it commit anything against my instruction, I will plague that land. So now that I've read you the instructions and I've walked it out for myself for 7 years to get here, and now I'm explaining it to you and you're gaining the understanding, are you not guilty? Oh, if a land, you can look it up. It's in Slim Jimmy. I don't condone using it, but if that's what you got right now, go check it. The Most High says, if a land, and he said he'll curse it and destroy it. Go look it up. A land. And since you on a land, that land must also go through the same process that the Most High says is going to go through in conforming unto the law to be under the new kingdom which I sit upon. But you don't want to listen yet. I know it's going to get more bitter. Get some more of this bitter waters.
And the place of the assemblage of waters called he the seas. And Yah saw that it was good. And Yah said, let the earth increase the grassy herb whose seed seedeth, and the fruit tree making fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so.
Okay, so let's take a look. So you mentioned this morning,
Yes,
and I told you the same thing.
Yes, sir.
So there is the grassy herb, right? Who has seed but no fruit.
Yes.
Then there's the fruit tree who has fruit and the seed is in it, right? And then what else is next?
Whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. And the earth produced grasses and herbage, whose seed seedeth, and the tree making fruit after its kind. And Yahweh saw that it was good.
So the first thing after the flood that Noah and his sons had to do was farm the land.
Yes.
No, you deep, right? You knew this, right? that Noah, he had full possession of the land, right? Him being the Melchizedek. Before Shem received the birthright and become the Melchizedek after him, right? The Malkazadika. That's how we say it here. So you see this, and the first thing, the flood, the waters go back, and he has to now seed the land again. He didn't wait for the Most High to do it. He had to plant it. He was carrying the seed on the ark for the food that would be needed, not only for himself, but for his sons and the animals who were with him. Everything that needed to begin for the first ones to survive, Noah had to carry. And when the floods receded, that's the first thing he did. He got down from the mountain on Mount Ararat. He came down to a nice place that was good for planting, and they planted. They set the first settlement and the first establishment.
And it was evening, and it was morning the third day.
So now, after this time, Noah's time is another 1,000 years past, and we coming into the next juncture.
And Yah said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heaven."
Okay, so now we're dealing with lights in the expanse of heaven, which is of a duality. So when he was creating things, this is when he put the sun into place. Okay, in the second day, when he talks about the seeding and the dry land and the angels, this is also in the second day. And now we come into the third day. He says, "Now let there be lights in the heavens," and
to distinguish between the fourth day and the night,
to distinguish between the day and the night.
And let them be for signs,
And let them be for signs,
and for festival
and
times,
for festival times,
and for the numbering by them. The account of days.
The accounting of days, counting days. Not counting, you can't count, you have to know that a year is fixed at 364 days. And then you can count days. So if you ever get lost, anybody could slap a number on a year. But if you can count the days, you'll know when the years have passed and what year you are in, forwards and backwards. But you let others just dictate to you, yeah, it was so-and-so BC and CE and LMNOP. I'm not even on that time anymore.
More letters.
More letters. I'm not on that time. I was. And then when I started to gain the understanding of what the Most High's calculation of time was and how I only had to count days, then I began to count the days. Then I began to count the days from Adam unto Moses, and then from Moses unto the ousting when the Romans put them out of the land, and then I came to a fullness of time. Then I could see where we were today. Even though they change the years and add time, and these people don't know. What?
They're doing it to confuse you. Because here it says to distinguish between the day and the night. And what you have just shared with us prior about the day and the night and the darkness and the light, it lets you see that all this plan was all of Yah's from the beginning.
All from the beginning. So continue. What else he said is this fourth day?
And for the numbering by them, the account of the days, and for the sanctifying of the beginning of months.
The beginning of months. So the months have a beginning. Okay. So we have this new time frame now where we're talking about there's something else coming. So let's see. The beginning of months and the what?
And the beginning of years.
And the beginning of years.
the passing away of months,
how the months pass away,
and the passing away of years,
and how the years pass away,
the revolutions of the sun,
the revolution of the sun.
the birth of the moon.
So when the moon is born after the new moon, so the new moon is not the first day, the moon has to be birthed. When the moon is birthed after the darkness, so we have the birth of the moon.
And the revolvings of seasons.
And how the seasons come around and which never changes. You hit the same seasons at the same times every year.
And let them be for luminaries in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so.
Okay, so he had these two great luminaries, and you have sun and the moon, and they were equally as bright. Oh, wait, I'm jumping ahead. Go ahead, read it.
And Yah made two great luminaries, and they were equal in glory 21 years, less 602 and 70 parts of an hour. And afterwards, the moon recited against the sun a false report. And she was diminished. And the sun was appointed to be the greater light to rule the day, and the moon to be the inferior light to rule in the night, and the stars. And Yah ordained them unto their offices in the expanse of the heavens to give forth light upon the earth, and to minister by day and by night, to distinguish between the light of the day and the darkness of the night. And Yah beheld that it was good.
All right, so now here we have this day and night, right? So now the sun is being made, and the Most High is telling you what the sun is, and the moon, and their appointments, and their appointed times. And they were equal in light, and they also had a mutual agreement. They were consistent with each other, okay? Now he tells you what happened and what happened. The moon gave a false report. It showed up 10 days too soon. Okay? That's a false report. So the moon, because it began to show up sooner and sooner and sooner. So you say, what do you mean it shows up 10 days too soon? In the first month, in the first year, it showed up with perfection. In the fourth month, it shows up 3 days too soon. In the seventh month, it shows up 5 days too soon. And in the 10th month, it shows up 7 days too soon. When you get to the 12th month, it will show up 10 days too soon. So you have to constantly make for this adjustment, because it will set you off and make an egregious day a feast day. So you have to intercalate, meaning give time for it. And you don't let that time subtract against the month. Let the month sit with its perfection, and let the moon and its days now interrupt the month somewhere in the middle where it shows up. That's first. So when you're talking about this is how, when I really can go into the calendar and how it's set, how it sits, how it works, how it positions, how you intercalate, and why I had to do a readjustment, this being the first year after 7.
Wow.
Right? This is talking about resetting the time in the time of the end. Okay, it took me 4 years, right? 4 days, 4 years to get the calendar into a fixed position so I could set it and reset it and understand it at the end of its time. Guess what? In the fourth day, though, the first kingdom to arise was the Hamite kingdom under Tammuz and Easter. And they worship themselves as the sun and the moon. So you begin to have sun and moon worship. You think it's a coincidence? Right after Noah, you have the sons, they start their farms, they have their children, and then Ham commits his atrocities. And then the next thing you do, a few generations down, he raises up Nimrod. Nimrod? It's Nimrod, Esau, and Tammuz. His name is Amphail, but he made everyone call him Nimrod. That was his title. And he wore Adam's garments to look the part of the king, but not having the birthright. He just looked the part. You know, he had a good image. He had a good image.
Yes, sir.
All right.
One question.
Yes.
Because of what we just read in 14. So, is it safe to say that the purpose of the sun and moon was to help us with understanding time?
Yeah. It's to help you understand time. Also, in the fourth day, you had the rise of Abraham. What happened? It says the moon, the lesser, transgressed against the greater light and was diminished. Abraham rose like the sun,
Right.
with perfection and light, and Nimrod's kingdom was brought down.
Yes, it was.
The Tower of Babel, it was diminished in light. Why? He bared false witness against Abraham. No, y'all knew this, right? I'm quite sure you sat down and you was listening to the conversation when I was having it. Who was you talking to? I was talking to the member. I don't know why you think. I didn't see you there, but maybe you was listening remotely. You know, you was listening. So when you talk about the fourth day, this is what's going on. Adam and Eve to the flood. The flood down now to what Adam has to do in reestablishing cities and fields and this and that. Then from there, you go into the next part of the major part of the story, which is the fall of Nimrod and this and that, right? But what else happened? If you go this in story sequence, you can also go into a thousand year mark. Right? This is how intertwined and enlaced the Most High's word is. Okay? It gets so woven, you begin to see the same pattern. So it's a short time from Noah to Nimrod. It's not 1,000 years. It's very short. It's like 400 or 500, something like that, right? But where do you get the 1,000 year mark? What happens in the 1,000 year? Well, you can see, right? And the first day was this, and then there's the flood. That's the greatest event of the second day. The third day, you see he's dividing the lands and he's parting the waters. That's Egypt. 2,000 years from Adam, you know, it tells you it was how many jubilees? From Adam unto Moses' death?
remember off the top of my head.
I'm going to check it. I'm going to check it.
I'm still here sitting on what you just shared with the Abraham.
It's,
Nimrod.
again, this is the Most High builds, he says, build according to the pattern shown you on the mountain, which means he shows a pattern. And then it's consistent down to the smallest degree, and it's expansive up to the biggest point. But if you have not spent time with him to gain the understanding, if he hasn't brought you near, then you'll never see it. Like, it can be shorter and it'll still be there, and it can be larger, it'll still be there. It can be to the exact point and it'll still be there. No matter at what point does it change.
You know, you were speaking about Abraham representing the sun. I think about that saying where it says, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new of what he established with Abraham. What he established then still remains today.
Jubilees chapter 50, verse 4. Wherefore I have ordained for you the year weeks. So 7 days is 7 years. Year weeks. It is ordained for us. So when I say it takes 7 days for purification, it will take you 7 years. It will take you a week. And then another week for purification. It is ordained. Jubilees chapter 50 and verse 4. For there were 49 jubilees.
Yes, 49.
49 jubilees from, it's 49 jubilees from Adam to the death of Moses. Okay? We'll be back, and then we're going to wrap it up, and we'll pick this up, more judgment tomorrow. All right, we're back. So from Adam to Moses is 2,450 years to the death of Moses. Jubilees chapter 50, verse 4. Right? So that's put you in smack dab, right? A year for a day. So it's 1,000 years is 1 day, 2,000 years is 2 days. Now we in the third day. Smack dab, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if it's 2,000, he said there was 2,450 years had passed from Adam to Moses. So 40 years in the wilderness included. And then he turns around to say, and there are still 1 week, 7 years, 2 years, and there are yet 40 to come in the, see, literally, to come, very distant in the end, for learning the commandments of Yah until they pass over into the land of Canaan, crossing the Jordan to the west. So Jubilees makes it clear. He says there will be only this for learning the law. Joshua don't need to learn the law. He had it.
Right.
He had already lived it. He was a master of it. Doing the 40 years in the wilderness, during the whole ordeal, they had the law. So for learning the law, this is talking to you. So he preserved 50 years for learning the law. You can write this down. Make sure. You know what I'm saying? He only preserved 49 years. So by the time the Jubilee comes, you get to go into it with perfection. So you have to rest the Jubilee year and then enter into the first year. The Jubilee is from atonement to atonement. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just blow the trumpets. It's in the Feast of Trumpets. It's spring to spring. Then you have 6 more months to finish out the 49th year because the Jubilee is inserted halfway through our 49th year. Not the world's.
Right.
It's the world's 50th year, but it's halfway through our 49th with us being delayed. We're delayed 7 months. So now He says to come for the learning of the commandments of Yah till they've passed over into the land of Canaan. So when are we going into Canaan? I'm already here and I'm halfway through this point. So we got 6 more months. By the time you come here, we have to get everything situated and established for you to be here and to have this established and everything running in a year before we have to cross over to Canaan to get into the land and build over there. So we have to build ourselves up to be strong enough to transfer over, to have a double. This won't close. It won't shut down. But we cross over into Canaan and we have this and Canaan and we're working back and forth. The sanctuary will remain open. So people will not come directly to us in the land polluted. They have to come here to learn. And the second place I will set up will be in Egypt to learn. You can't come into the land, you don't know the rules, the customs, or the traditions because you have to walk it with perfection. You will have proven yourself in the schools. In Egypt, it will be Beit Shamish, the house of the sun. Okay? When I leave from Jordan, this will be Beit Josiah and Beit Daud will move into the land. So 2,400 years, this puts you at the third day. At the third day, you look on the third day of the Genesis account and you see the Most High is dividing the land. He's dividing the waters. So what happened? They exodus and they went through the 40 years in the wilderness and now they're crossing over the dry land to come into the land. It's the third day. It multi-layers is a pattern and the Most High changes not. So you could see who's telling the truth. So you would marvel at it. All right, what's the next one?
And it was evening and it was morning, day the 4th.
Okay, so the 4th day, then you had also in the 4th day, after 40 years, so we're talking about it's 3,000 something. Joshua took 40 years. Well, it's 40 years crossing into it. And what happened? They gave a false report about the land, but what's happening in that time? Because it's 2,450, right? Joshua takes back the land on this side of Jordan, right?
Yes.
And now you have him come back to Jordan. He's abiding here. They take some more land. They get some more. It's now 2,500. Another 500 years passes. And what do you have?
Yes. Dispersed. No.
No, you're not dispersed yet. Right?
Or is that when David?
We start to have
David.
You start getting into past the judges period. You start having them coming into the land with David, the fighting of the Philistines. It's now year 3,000.
Yeah, because that's when David takes possession of the capital city.
He takes the capital city. 4th day. Right? 4th day. Now we're here. The city is now from Moses to David and them being in the land and having possession. It's now day 4. What happens in day 5? Go ahead, read it.
And Yah said, let the lakes of the waters swarm forth the reptile,
The reptiles,
the living
animals,
and the fowl which flieth,
and the fowl which flieth.
whose nest is upon the earth.
Okay?
And let the way of the bird be upon the air of the expanse
The way of
heavens.
the way of the bird. Right? So now you see from Moses, You get into the end 3,000. So it's the end of day 3. And people, you start from 0 to 1,000, day 1. 1,001 to 2,000,
Two.
day 2. 2,001 to 3,000, day 3. I just want you to, so you can follow me. 3,001 to 4,000 is day 4. Right? So, day 4. Now we into 4,001 to 5,000, day 5. Right? So we're ending day 5 on 5,000. It don't begin on 5,000. It ends on 5,000. Okay? So now what you have the rise of the animals, the beasts. What happened? Oh, I know. If you look at this in the process of time, you have the division of the kingdom, the fall and the ouster of the chosen people from the land. So it goes from the former prophets, from Joshua all the way to Ezra, and stops. And the beast rise up, right? You have the 4 great nations. Terror, which is Babel, darkness, which is Madai, greatness, which is Javan or the Greeks, and decline, which is Phretish, which is you Europeans, the Euphrates people, the Chaldeans, the Hasidim, right? The Nephilim, the fallen ones, and they align themselves with Saudi, who has recently decided, I don't want to be on your side no more. I'm sick of your backstabbing and manipulative and corrupt ways. Okay, not my problem. We continue. So now what? After this, we have the rise of the beast. So these are all the beast nations. Notice the Syrian captivity is not here because the Syrian captivity of the land, right, where we will subject ourselves, is meant to sift out any bad people. We are a modest and Muslim people. We're not going to conform to your ideas. We're not going to conform to your ways. We are a modest Muslim people. We have our traditionals and customs, and we keep those faithfully. All of us. The same. We're not going to mix and mingle. We've already done that all over the world. Continue.
And Yah created,
Oh, I had to check, make sure it was still recording.
and Yah created the great tannins,
Uh-huh.
the Leviathan, and his yoke fellow, which are prepared for the day of consolation.
Oh, so now here we are in day 5, and the Most High prepares Leviathan and his yoke fellow, the behemoth or whatever, and he says, for the day of consolation, what is he consoling? He is consoling the land to Jerusalem. The people who left by the sea, they come back from overseas. What saves them and drives them back? The law. The instructions which I am telling you. The Feast of Leviathan is you coming up to eat this law like a sandwich, just gobbling it up, for you to just come and live and do and be and change yourself. Not look at your neighbor. Oh, they not right over there. We good. No, let me change me. Oh, no, this is not right. Don't do this. This is not good. This haram. This no good. And everybody, for fear of the wrath of the Most High, that's what the fear of the Most High is. We obey the instruction as it comes. Continue.
Okay. And every living animal which creepeth, and which the clear waters has swarmed forth after their kind,
Uh-huh.
and the kinds which are clean,
So there's a separation which is clean and unclean.
and the kinds which are not clean,
Mm-hmm.
and every fowl which flieth with wings after their kind,
Mm-hmm.
the clean and the unclean. And Yah beheld that it was good.
And it was evening and it was morning the 5th day.
And he blessed them, saying, increase and multiply, and fill the waters of the sea, and let the fowl multiply upon the earth. And it was evening and it was morning, day 5th. So that means it's at 5,000.
Yeah, 5,000.
Okay. Okay.
Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Does everybody see that? It ends at 5,000.
Okay.
Okay? It ends at 5,000.
Okay. So you went from 4,001 to 5,000.
It ends at 5,000.
Okay.
Okay?
And Yah said, let the soil of the earth bring forth the living creature according to his kind, the kind that is clean and the kind that is unclean, cattle and creeping thing, and the creature of the earth according to his kind, and it was so.
So now you have a great multiplication of people and animals and beasts. Everything is multiplying above the earth. All right? Go ahead.
Okay. And Yah made the beasts of the earth after his kind,
So now we have the beast of the earth after his kind,
the clean and the unclean
the clean and the unclean, mingled
together, and cattle after their kind,
cattle after their kind,
and every reptile of the earth after its kind,
after its kind,
the clean and the unclean.
the clean and the unclean.
And Yah saw that it was good.
Okay, it's good. Everything has multiplied up now, right? Everything is multiplied. Clean and unclean, all the beast nations multiplied together. Even his nation, which was set apart to be clean and established by his law, is now mingled in with all of this. And he says what?
And Yah said to the angels who ministered before him, who had been created in the second day.
So the angels created on the second day
of the creation of the
world.
Let us make man.
Let us make man
in our image.
In our image.
And in our likeness.
In our likeness. He's talking to the angels. So now you have what happened when Adam was created. And now you also have in our time where we have to be recreated. We have to recreate ourselves in the image of our angel. Who is our angel? Israfil. The Muslims say that. We say Michael. No, I don't say Michael. White folks say that. Right. Nephilim say that. I don't have that. I have Israfil. I'm named after him. That's what the whole wrestling was about with my father Jacob. But you don't know that yet, some of you. So continue.
And let them rule over the fish of the sea.
So now we're talking, and now you're talking about you have to establish. Now you have to establish. You see? You have to establish now the kingdom over the entirety of the world. I'm going to give my man what I gave it to Adam. Adam went through this whole process, and now there's all these nations and everything is mixed up and mixed together. Now I'm taking from the seed of Abraham, from the sons of Adam, and I'm going to place them on top and reorganize the world again to be back as it was in the Garden of Eden, except not solitary.
Right, because it says here, let them.
Let them. There's a nation here. Let them.
Because it said, let us make man ruler in our image and in our likeness. And then it said, and let them rule.
So when he made man, you have to look at the man the Most High made. So he's talking to the man he made and the seed that come from him. Included in that seed is the 70 nations which proceeded from Adam. Okay, y'all think I'm telling a story. You know what I'm saying? You think I'm making it up? I'm just checking my time. I want to make sure, because this not even a long class to me. This is for me. This is now a light thing. We got 5 minutes. Go ahead, continue reading.
And let them rule over the fish of the sea.
They rule over the seas.
And over the fowl which are in the atmosphere of heaven.
So we're going to rule over all the dirty bird nations too. The fish nations, the dirty bird nations. What else?
And over the cattle and over all the earth.
See, hold on. The cattle nations. So you have to look at it. When he says cattle's like clean.
Yeah.
So they rule over the fish and those nations, the seas. They rule over the beast nations. They rule over the cattle nations, right? These are the people of the Most High. He looks at them like cattle. They are clean and separated to be a holy portion unto him. Go ahead.
And over every reptile creeping upon the earth.
And there you go. All the reptiles and the creepy crawly things as well.
And Yah created man in his likeness.
And he created man. Which man did he create? Let's keep context. He created Adam. There is Nephil, the Nephilims. So you have Adam and Nephil, and they're existing at the same time. Go ahead.
In the image of Yah, he created him.
So man is created in Yah's image. So he don't have an idol. He don't need one. If I want to see the Most High, I can just look at my sister. She's look like him. If she wants to see the Most High, she can look to me. I look like him. I am fashioned in his image. And this goes for all my brethren and sisterin of the house of Abraham. The rest of you, I don't know. You look a little Nephilim out there. You know? You look a little mixed and mingled. I can't say. But if you come in and serve, you will prove that you are who you say you are with your service. Your service is the proof, not your word, not no DNA test, not the length of your arm or the size of your foot or the color of your eyes. Your service. Continue.
In the image of Yah, he created him with 248 members.
Oh, so let's take a look at this right now. So what you are hearing is how the Most High is going to pulled together his nation from among the people. This is the same prophecy in Ezekiel in the valley of dry bones. We are the bones that are dry, and I am speaking the word of Yah to breathe life back into the bones. And I'm regathering you here so that we can walk back over Jordan as a nation. How big, how small, this depends on your participation because we have to buy land. You have to buy land. Not fight land, buy land. You in no condition. You can't defeat a wet paper towel. You can't defeat the police department in any county, in any place, at any time. You can't do it. So, in 248 members, go ahead.
With 365 nerves,
365 nerves,
and overlaid them with skin,
wrapped in skin,
and fill it with flesh and blood,
and filled with flesh and blood.
male and female in their bodies, he created them.
So he always created a man and a woman at the same time. So when people talk about Lilith or Lilith, Adam's first wife, yes, Adam was created and Lilith was created at the same time. The Most High, when he made Lilith, he always knew and had intended for the Nephilim to take Lilith and breed themselves. So when Lilith went her way, that was fine. Most High made no complaint. Then Adam took Adam, and from Adam made Eve and fashioned her for Adam. And when Eve goes astray, oh, we got a problem. The fallen angels had fallen, and they fell because they took from the daughters of men, from the woman given unto Adam. It's mingling. That's our time for today. We'll pick this up and continue judgment tomorrow. Look at this. All of this revelation. I'm finally getting to take you guys out on a little bit of swim out into the deep. We're getting out here, and this is the forward. This is just the beginning of things, just to give you a foundation of how deep we're going to get. And we haven't even started the story yet because didn't say nothing about Adam yet. This is just chapter 1. I'm warming up. I'm just getting started. Wait till we start crisscrossing everything what I'm telling you with the law, because this is just explaining what's here for you to have an understanding of who the Most High is, because this book has always been his conversation about him, what he made, what he does, and what he wants done when he wants it done by. That's our time for today. One step at a time, one day at a time. Y'all meditate on that.